everybody, and welcome back to The United Stand. It is the 8 p.m. show on Halloween. I'm talking about Halloween. Yeah. It's going to be scary times when Amorim gets into Manchester United. For other people, not for us, for other teams. We hope. So. But I'm joined with Ricky for tonight's show. Amorim hits list. What players will thrive, do we think? Obviously, we don't know 100%, but what players will thrive in the Amorim system, the new tactical setup he's going to bring to Manchester United? What players will have to find a club elsewhere? What players will he maybe want to show the door to? What players will be looking to sell? What players he'll be looking to bring in to fit his system and optimise his system at Manchester United? Going to be talking all about Amorim's tactics and how he could line up with this Manchester United squad. Because remember, it's coming through midway through a season. He's not going to have a transfer window till January. Usually the big transfer window's in the summer, so he's going to have to make do with what he's got. But in his whole managerial career, he's not ditched the three at the back. He's going to go with that system. I'm almost 99% sure he's going to go with a three at the back. How does this work? How does his wing-backs work? How does his what were wingers at Manchester United, basically 2 10s in behind the striker? How's that going to work? His midfield pivot, what do you expect from them two midfielders in there? The centre-backs as well, who's going to be most suited to that back three where you've got to have pace, but you've also got to be great on the ball? Going to talk about that and get all your comments in as well. It's all about opinions. Get your comments in. What players are you excited to see under the Amorim system, and what players do you think will have to move on? Ricky, are you excited for the show?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and there's a lot of interesting topics there to talk about who'll fit in and who won't fit in. Really, it should be really interesting. Really interesting.
I sent Ricky a little video earlier this afternoon, didn't I?
Yeah, I've studied it.
Yeah, on YouTube, because there's some fantastic videos out there from some people that are really tactically astute, and I sent Ricky the video by Pythagoras in Boots, and it was the ultimate tactical guide to Amorim at Manchester United. It was a fantastic video, and I'd already done a bit of research, but it gave me a lot more insight into the current sporting side and how he might work with the Manchester United squad to get the same results. I don't think everything will be 100% the same, because obviously the coach is going to have to come in and he's going to have to evaluate the squad, and he might change things to fit the players he's got. But it's interesting. It's going to be a complete change, isn't it?
It's definitely going to be a complete change, and I agree with you. You can never say absolutely certain. So you're 99% sure he'll go with a back three. I just said to you before we started, some managers, they come in and they have to mould the system to fit the players that they think they've got. You know what I mean? But I think in this instance, as you've just said, quite rightly, I'm pretty sure, like he's done it throughout his career, I can't see him. He's got enough centre backs. So I can't see any reason why he shouldn't play. He shouldn't be playing three at the back. So I'm sure he will be doing, and that'll lead us into that video that we watched. The guy actually picked the team that he thought he would pick in the end, didn't he? And I found that one thing I'll mention about that straight away. He's got Mazraoui in his back three, and I saw Mark put his team up the other week, and
Maybe he was watching.
Mark had Mazraoui in his, and when I saw Mark do it, I thought, what? Mazraoui is one of, especially when you think we've got 6 centre backs. I mean, you've got Maguire, Evans, and Lindelof. You've got Yoro, Martinez, and De Ligt, haven't you? So we've got 6 centre backs. So it'll be a proper snub to them if a fullback gets selected as one of the 3 centre backs. You know what I mean? And look, he's not going to be fit. But even Luke Shaw is a fullback that can play centre back. So I suppose it could happen. But I'll be amazed if Mazraoui gets selected as one of the centre backs.
What's really interesting to me, and what we're going to do throughout the show, we're going to go through the United squad. And we're going to list where we think they could play in this Amorim system, and if they will get into the starting 11 and what their role will be in an Amorim system coming into Manchester United. Maybe they won't be part of the plans. Maybe we think they'll be in the starting 11, and if they're not in the starting 11, what positions do we think they'll be able to take up in that tactical setup, the 3-4-3 basically, or the 3-4-2-1. You can kind of call it that. I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row there. We're going to go through that. But what was really interesting to me is, I don't know if this will happen straight away in the Premier League. I think he might build up to this, but the fact that the wing-backs don't necessarily have to be full-back type figures. They can be wingers in that system.
That was fascinating. That, as I say, in that video that we watched, he was speaking about them regularly being wingers, his 2 wide men, and he was suggesting that Garnacho and Amad might well be his 2 choices. I think coming into the Premier League, I'll be surprised if he doesn't use fullbacks as his wing backs to start with.
That's what I think he'll do to start with,
and
then he might
steadier, yeah.
Or you might use one
and one,
the other, yeah.
One and one. But Garnacho for me is defensive. I mentioned on the show last night he gave the ball away poorly in Turkey last week, twice in his final third, and we got away with it. You know, people rescued him from the situations, but then he did it at West Ham and it cost us a goal. So he's got to be more careful in that final third. He's a winger who, I'm not saying he took people on and lost the ball, just his passing was a bit slack. But he's a winger who likes to take people on. He's a bit flamboyant, isn't he? So when he gets behind the ball, he's not as steady as a fullback. You know, he doesn't take enough care over his passing. So I'll be look this guy today on there. He was saying Garnacho might well suit him. I'll be amazed if he's playing with wing backs and Garnacho's one of them.
I think you've also got to think about what centre back is on each side, because if you've got, Alessandro Martinez covering the left side, and then you've also got Garnacho on that left side, you've got to think about the aerial presence there.
Yeah.
You look at the right side, you think it's going to be, a lot of people think it's going to be Euro when he's back, and how do his strengths line up with maybe an Amad, maybe an Anthony, maybe a Dallo. Going to talk about it anyway, but let's get cracking with the squad, Ricky. I'm really interested to know this. We're going to start from the goalkeeper out from the defence, so we're probably relatively easy to begin with. Obviously, Bayindir and Tom Heaton, they are backup keepers, so we're not really going to analyse them. But Andre Onana, I think, in this system, is going to do really well.
Yeah.
Ball-playing goalkeeper, which is why Erik ten Hag originally brought him in and then didn't utilise him to do what we thought he brought him in for. But, he played with a back five at Inter Milan. I know... there's different ways you can play that five at the back, three at the back, but he played that way into Milan. He thrived in that system. We thrived in that setup. You saw him in that Champions League final against Man City. When he's actually working with competent centre-backs and full-backs and midfielders and even strikers in front of him, he looked a lot better on the ball, and hopefully Amorim will get these lot into shape, because I do think there is members of the squad that can fit that system and can play that way and can be good on the ball, and we can get a system going that allows Andre Onana to do what he's best at, which is his distribution.
I mean, obviously, I hope you're right, but you've only got the players to work with that you've got to work with. You know what I mean? So this manager, well, I was about to say he can't work miracles. Hopefully he can work miracles and get us playing really good football, scoring more goals. And if you're going to start by playing out from the back, you've still only got the defenders that you've got. You know what I mean? So apart from the fact that you're going to add one, you're going to add a centre-back, you've still got the same centre-backs, haven't you? Obviously, Yoro's not played yet, so maybe you could say it's not quite the same centre-backs. But I don't see any reason why he should be able to play out from the back better when the new manager comes in. Obviously, the coaching, there's going to be an extra centre-back, but when you've got an extra centre-back, that just means that one centre-back's going to stay fairly central and the other two are going to spread out a little bit towards the fullback areas. Well, normally you've got fullbacks in them areas anyway, so we've still got a pass on, if you understand what I mean, when we're playing with a back four. So it'd be very interesting to see I hope there is, but it'd be interesting to see if there is improvement.
I hope there is, and I'd like to think that, because I was re-watching, Andre Onana at Inter Milan, and I think he's actually been solid for Manchester United this season. I think he's improved dramatically.
I agree.
But I still want to see the distribution that you've seen it at Inter Milan at Manchester United, and we've not seen the full extent of that. I mean, I just watched that, bits of that Champions League final back again, and it was unbelievable. And I think that is an example of really good coaching and a really good setup and players that know their system inside out. So hopefully, over time, Amorim can get that going with Andre Onana. But we'll see, sometimes managers come in and maybe they don't fancy the goalkeeper, maybe they do, but I do think Amorim will like Onana.
I think he will. I think it's going to go fine for him.
Victor Lindelof next, Ricky.
Yeah.
Do you see him being able to work as part of a back three?
100% I do. I've not had a chance to watch that game but everyone was laughing at me when I give him an 8 out of 10. I like defenders who pass it well, getting good positions, and I thought Lindelof had a fine game last night. I think Lindelof's an underrated player by most United fans. I think we checked it last night. I think he's only 30, isn't he, Lindelof, or 31. I don't see any reason why, and he's going to know him as well. He already knows him. I think a lot of people might be surprised by how he thinks about Lindelof. Could be wrong, you know. Obviously, we're guessing. You know, in a way, we're guessing. We're putting our bit of input in what we do know, and I do know for a fact that he'll know him well. He will already know him well. He'll already have in his mind what he thinks of Victor. He might think he's crap. You never know. But I've got a feeling he'll think he's a really good player, and you might be surprised how much game time he gets.
I don't think he'll start. I don't think he'll start under Amorim. It's going to be interesting. I think the three centre-backs, especially at first, as we're getting used to the system, are going to have a lot to do. You know, you've got, in the Amorim press, you've got to push up high. It can leave you exposed at times. You need some sort of pace within that back three. I know he's not as slow as what people might think he is. Also, isn't the most mobile. I would like to see him be more physical. I don't see him being a starter in that back three, but would I be open to him being a squad player? Absolutely, because you're going to need depth, because like you said, you're playing with three centre-backs. So you're going to need depth.
You need that centre-back. But I'll add this as well. I mean, obviously, there is that possibility that he does use Mazraoui as a centre-back. But I know Mark said that, and I know this guy on the YouTube today, or on Twitter today, whatever it was. I know he said the same thing, that he might use Mazraoui. But Mazraoui's nominally a full-back, even though he played at number 10 in Turkey as well. If we assume, because nobody can say for sure that he's going to think of using one of the fullbacks, we've got 6 centre-backs, haven't we? Yoro's not fit yet. Lindelof's better on the ball than Harry Maguire. You know, he's good on the ball, Lindelof, and this is what we're looking to do. We're looking to play out. So if you say Yoro's not ready, and if you put, he might not put him in front of Maguire, but I'd put him in front of Maguire for his ability with the ball. Who does that leave us with? Lindelof, De Ligt, Martinez. Who am I missing? I'm missing one out.
Yoro.
No, I've just said Yoro's injured still.
Evans.
Johnny Evans I'm missing. So there might be, if you keep Maguire out of it, he might pick Maguire, but I'm just saying he's not great on the ball, Maguire. If he wants to do all this playing out from the back, it might be between 4 players for 3 spots to start with.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting because you need to have to balance it out, and you're going to need pace in that back three because he likes to push them high. And, you know, you don't want your defenders being stuck in quicksand, not being able to get back. I know we've not got the paciest of defenders. I don't see
any evidence to sort of say that Martinez is any quicker than Lindelof.
I don't think Martinez is quick. Yeah. I don't. And De Ligt's not the quickest either. Maguire's not the quickest. We're not absolutely blessed with pace in that region. Yoro, however, Yoro is quick. He's going to be an asset when he's back fit. I think that's I hope
you're right.
I think that's a big asset of having Yoro there. In terms of Lindelof, for me, he's too weak and he's not great aerially. But I think he's very good on the ball. I think his distribution is good. So that might put him into consideration. I don't see him as a starter, but let's see how it goes. But I definitely think he makes the squad 100%. And I think he'll stay around if he's happy to. He'll get game time. Next up, get your comments in as well. Going to read some super chats in a second. Mazraoui.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, as good as he's been the start of the season, I'm a bit worried about him in this setup.
Yeah, well, we've just said that Mark thinks he might get one of the back 3 spots. I can't. Yeah. He might do, but I really can't see that. But he has played well for us. I'm happy with him. I don't, like you say, he probably won't get in the starting lineup. But he is quite. We were just talking about pace. It strikes me that he is quite pacey. So there is that he's got that string to his bow. But also, are we going to, like we've just said, are we going to actually use wingers? He normally uses wingers as his wide, let's call them wide midfield players or wing backs. He tends to use wingers, or so we're being told. I think he'll go with fullbacks to start with, like I've just said earlier, to give us a solid base and a solid start. So I think right from the beginning, I think we might find Mazraoui and Dalot are the 2 wing backs. That's what I think.
I've seen the funniest chat saying that Mark's not doing the show tonight because it's Ten Hag's leaving too. That's class, whoever put that in. But back to your point, Ricky, because I think you make a good point. The thing is with Mazraoui, I think he's very adaptable. I mean, he played the number 10 under Ten Hag. Don't think he'll be playing that under Amorim, but, you know, who knows? Don't really see him as a wing back. Maybe at the start, 100%. Do I see him as that right-sided centre-back? Potentially, because he has got pace, and I actually think defensively he's quite decent. But it's just whether when everyone's fit, he gets in there, and I don't think he does. But I think as an all-round squad player, I think Mazraoui will be a squad player when everyone's fit. I don't think he'll be a starter. Just my opinion, might be completely off the mark. What do you guys think? Get in the comments, what do you guys think? But I think as a squad player, he's quite adaptable. I don't think he'll have a nailed-on starter.
He's at least getting in the squad. He's
a
good player.
Yeah, I think he's getting in the squad, and I think he's quite adaptable, and I think he'll play probably multiple different positions. But I don't think he'll be a nailed-on starter for Amorim when he's got everything up and running. Maybe at the start as a wing back potentially. Abdi says United played 3-4-3 and 5-3-2 lineup under Van Gaal. I mean, how many players are left from that era?
Not many.
Yorkie says, just saw Mark going around the neighbourhood saying tricks or treats. Why is he not here? Poital says, who would have been Ricky's first managerial choice?
What right now? I'm going to say Amorim.
Love that. Ricky was first to the party. This is for Charlene says, Ricky and Beth have a pint on me after the show. Curious to know if Amorim's system aligns with Ricky's vision and how United play. Cheers. Thank you very much for that super chat.
Not really. I'm a 4-4-2 man, but I can be. And look,
Sean Dyche.
And I've seen plenty of teams play with a back five, and I've seen it work well. I've seen Inter Milan use it all the time. You know what I mean? So, and obviously he's used. I've not watched much of Sporting Lisbon, if anything, but I've watched Inter Milan loads over the last couple of years, and I think they operate it really well. So I've got nothing against it, but it's just not my favoured system.
Michael Goldbridge says, hey guys, my bro is all right, he just needs a rest. I think he's talking about Goldbridge there, yeah. Having a little Halloween, he's got kids. I was speaking to my mum about this before the show, and she was like, you know, anyone who's got kids, Beth, they're off on Halloween, and whoever doesn't have kids, they're there to cover. So, I mean, Ricky, your kids are growing up, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I don't actually have any yet. So we're here on Halloween to cover, and I can't wait because it's really, really interesting. Next up, we have Delit.
Yeah.
He's going to play, I would like to think.
Yeah. He could easily play this. Like I've just said, this. Yeah, he probably will play. I will say yes, he'll play.
I think he will.
Yeah.
Decent on the ball. I think he's a leader, aerially present. Has a mistake in him, but I think he will play. Next up, we have Harry Maguire. Interesting one, this, because played very well in a back five for England.
Yeah.
But that was
for United a few times.
Yeah, but that was more of a flat back five rather than the wing back situation.
Yeah. If you watch that video today, though, when you're under pressure and defending, it's sort of a morphs into a back five, doesn't it? Even though, and the fella pointed out on there, even though they're wingers, and he says that, and he does get let down defensively by the wingers that he's got. If he thinks he's getting let down defensively by them wingers, well, it's his arse.
One thing I will say is with watching that video, and shout out to the guy because it was excellent to see. Obviously, when we're in the press and when we're going forward, it is a back three. But when the opponents go into enemy lines, he said, I think it was, it does go to a back five, and the wingers are there just to be bodies, really, not necessarily to get the...
To make sure you've got enough behind the ball.
Yeah.
As I'm always trying to explain
just to make it more
people.
To make it more
just
difficult.
Got to be there, yeah.
So when I was watching that, I was thinking, I bet Ricky's really excited to see what he does with the wingers, because I'm sure it's going to be... he's going to have to really get hold of them and drill them on that, because we've not really seen much of that really under Eric Ten Hag.
No, I don't think so.
But Harry Maguire, I think he's too injury prone to be playing.
What we're talking about here, are we going to keep him? Is this what you're saying? Is he going to be in the squad, or will he get rid of him in January or the summer?
Do you think he's nailed on starter? Do you think he's just going to be a squad player, or do you think he'll go?
Three options. I say he'll be a squad player.
Squad player.
Yeah, I think he might get plenty of starts.
I think he'll go in the summer.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily because I think Amorim won't rate him. I think his contract's up.
Right.
And I don't think it'll be one of them where he's like, yeah, let's extend it.
Yeah.
I think he will end up going. But centre-backs is an area where we're going to need a bit more depth with this system. So who knows? Lisandro Martinez, for me, straight away, I think he plays on that left side of the back three. Got to be honest. Looking at the way he plays with Inacio, his current defender on the left side of that back three, I think Martinez fits that mould superbly well. It starts from him. It starts from Inacio at Sporting Lisbon. I think it's going to start from Lisandro Martinez. Inacio's excellent on the ball. I think Lisandro Martinez is excellent on the ball. I think he's going to sometimes drop into midfield at times and push up that way. I think he'll really suit this system personally. I think he'll suit it more than a centre-back pairing of a back two. I think he'll suit it more.
I agree with you.
Oh, do you, Ricky? Yeah. Oh my gosh, when did we ever hear that? I think that's the first time I've heard that in a while.
Yeah, I think he will suit that well, without a doubt. I mean, we're using him as a left back at the minute, and obviously when you're playing with, well, did he play left back? Yeah, he started at left back, didn't he? And he started at left back a few times recently. And when you're playing with the back three, obviously that three has to move across. The wing backs have got to get back to help, but they're not always back quickly enough, and they're not always there. So you're going to regularly find yourself that the three have got to move across, and it's a little bit. When you're playing with three centre backs, your left-sided centre back is like a little bit of halfway between centre back and left back,
and
your right-sided centre back is halfway between right back and right-sided centre back. So it's
maybe Mazraoui will be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's very similar. It's very similar to playing left back, really.
Dallow's played in a back three at times under United when we've been under pressure.
I think he has, yeah.
Certain, I mean, not from the start of games, but when we've had, sometimes when in some Ten Hag games, you don't even know what for. I think Bruno played centre back at one point in like the Liverpool FA Cup game or something. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. Like you said on the Saint-Germain, it's the fact he has that experience at left back, and I think he will be a proper player under Ruben Amorim, and hopefully that will be the case. And you were saying one of the centre backs he utilises is not the tallest either at the moment.
The lad you're talking about, the left side.
Nacio, yeah, that's the one.
I think he's only 5'9" or something, so he's not adamant that all his centre backs have got to be 6'2".
Good news for Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah.
Next up, Tyrell Malacia when he gets back fit. Don't see it.
There's no room for him in the squad at all.
No, don't see it. Don't see him as a wing back because I don't think he's very good going forward based off what I saw the short period of him in United squad. United when he was in the United team. Definitely don't think he can play left-sided centre back. Don't see it with him.
I don't see it. No, he's a left back, isn't he, out and out. And if he's not going to be using proper full-backs, it's not going to happen for him.
And he was a proper Ten Hag signing, wasn't he? I think he's the first signing that Ten Hag made. Also been out with injury for a long time. Yeah. How good he's going to be, we'll have to wait and see. You never know, Amorim might use him at left wing back and transform him, but I very highly doubt that's going to happen. I don't see him being part of Amorim's first 11, and I don't see him being utilised really as part of the squad. I think he'll leave Manchester United in the summer.
Yeah, I'm not having a go at him, but you might find he never kicks a ball for United again.
Really?
You might do, because he doesn't play with a left back, does he? And, he might try him as a left wing back, but he's just like that. People are saying it should be that it'd probably be the wingers, but if it's not the wingers, Dalot's doing okay, Mazraoui's doing okay. Obviously, there's Luke Shaw possibly to come back. I can't see Malacia getting game time.
Just so you know, Ricky, Inacio's 6'1", so he wasn't in.
That must be a different one then. That's
I thought Inacio was taller than that. But I'll have a look at it after. Yeah. Can't be bothered having a look at it.
I clicked on it and I read about the lad who was playing left-sided, and he's definitely only about 5'8", 5'9". Anyway,
if anyone can find out the player, let us know. I would search it, but I've kind of got to be in.
But a bit busy.
Yeah, a bit busy at the moment. Next up, Ricky, Lenny Yoro.
Yeah.
Didn't kick a ball under
he's not kicked a ball, has he?
For Ten Hag in a professional setting.
Yeah.
In a game that means something.
Yeah.
I think, Yoro's 100% got a future.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Well, when I say 100%, I want to see more of him, but how much did he spend on him? Young lad, 50 million quid or something, was it?
60, I think it was.
Was it? So hopefully he's good enough. Yeah, hopefully he's good enough. We haven't seen enough of him, and we've made enough mistakes, Beth. So there's no guarantee that he's going to be good enough, none whatsoever.
Real Madrid wanted him. I think he's, when you're debuting at 16 and you're in I know League One isn't exactly the most respected league in the world, but he was in League One Team of the Season
all the top
last
5
season.
leagues are good leagues.
Yeah, he was in League One Team of the Season last season. Like,
he's got to have a chance, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I'll still reserve my judgment till I've seen him play a few times.
Good on the ball, pacey, young, calm, composed. I'm excited for him. Really excited for him. I think
he's back in training, isn't he?
Yeah. I think individual training. I think he slots into that back three with ease.
Fingers crossed, we'll see him after the international break.
I hope so. Here we Yoro, Surgeon says in the chat. Diogo Dalot.
100% in the squad, could be a starter.
Right, okay, this is where it gets interesting now, because it's what positions they could play in. I think Dalot can play wing back. either left or right.
Yeah.
He can play both wing backs. If he plays as left wing back, I think he plays the inverted wing back. If he plays on the right-sided wing back, I think, you know, that orthodox wing back. But I also think he could play right-sided centre-back if needs be.
Yeah, without a doubt he could. I mean, like we just said, there's plenty of centre-backs there, and we've already said Mazraoui might even be roped into playing that role. So he could do. You might never see it, but he could play there. And I think he'd be all right there as well. But I think the right-sided wing-back for me is Dalot's role to start with.
I agree.
For sure.
We should do what we think the starting 11 will be at the end.
Yeah, we'll do that, yeah.
And I won't give it away, but Dalot's in there. Yeah. Luke Shaw, the invisible man that never plays. I mean, if he can get fit, he 100% I think he's part of it, but he just can't get fit.
Never gets fit, does he?
If Luke Shaw was 100% fit, though, do you see him more as a left-sided centre-back in this system or a left wing-back?
I would see him more as a left-sided centre-back.
So would I.
And also with the injury, you know, the injuries that he keeps having, maybe it wouldn't be sensible to try and have him bombing up and down the wing and having to race back all the time. You know, and look, it's not easy. It's not easy playing football in any position. You've always got your work cut out, but you know, you've got a little bit less running to do if you can play at centre back rather than a left wing back, and you know, you get lots of more rest time. You might have to put a few sprints in, obviously chasing loose balls with a striker, but not the same as playing as a wing back. So I think playing as a left-sided centre back, not only would he be, well, I've seen him play there. He's absolutely excellent at it. He's played
fantastic on the ball.
He's played there against City a couple of times, and we beat him. You know what I mean? So
Haaland in his pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Luke Shaw's fantastic. I know he gets a lot of stick. Some people get confused between fitness and ability. You know, and I think because they're frustrated with him and because he's injured all the time, I see people saying, "Oh, he's not good enough." He's fantastic, Luke Shaw. He's absolutely fantastic. But is he ever going to play?
That's the thing. If he can't get fit this season, he's got to go in the summer. Yeah. He's no point keeping him around. I don't see a future with Luke Shaw at Man United. It's just a bonus player. I think he's entered into Martial territory, a player I always rated, but unfortunately just can't get fit. So I don't see him as as sad as it is, I don't actually see him as a United player option available. I just think if he ever does get fit, it's an absolute bonus. But I just don't see that for him.
Since you mentioned Martial, he's just made his debut for AEK, hasn't he?
What about time?
He scored. He played wide on the left, I've been told, and someone sent me a clip, and there he is, winning the ball back in the left-back area 2 or 3 times. It's only a small few clips, but I thought, I wish we had him playing for us.
Ricky's in the medical room every week.
Let's hope he stays. I hope he stays fit.
Well, yeah, I hope he does for him.
Anyway, it don't matter. He's not with us.
Yeah, I hope he does for him. But we need to stay away from injury-prone players, and unfortunately, he falls into that category, and Luke Shaw is definitely in that category, and it's you just can't build with players like that. People talking about how Dalot played wing back for Portugal sometimes. Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of people laughing about Dalot playing centre back. Apparently, he's not positionally aware enough. I'm not saying he's going to be an absolute starter at centre back, but I'm saying if needs must, I think he could play on the right side if needs must. But I do see him as more as a wing back.
Yeah, he does get caught out occasionally, but I'm forever trying to explain that you concede goals for different reasons, and different players have got different strengths and different weaknesses. And if Dalot played as a right-sided, he's not going to be automatically in the team, and people might be laughing about him playing there. But if he played as a right-sided centre-back, there's only going to be a couple of goals a season, perhaps 3 at the most, that are down to him being out of position or not being aware at the back post. And if somebody else plays there instead, he might be at fault in a different manner for us. He might give the ball away, for example, and the opposition might score. So you can see goals for different reasons, and all players have got different strengths and different weaknesses.
It's interesting because Ten Hag has played Dalot inverted, and he's done really well in that role, but obviously Amorim's wing backs stay at the touchline. Yeah. So it's whether he would maybe play the left wing back and come inverted on through that as an inverted wing back. It'll be interesting to see. That definitely is a possibility. Johnny Evans.
I think this will be. I think he'll retire at the end of the season, don't you?
As good as he's been for United, and he's been our best centre back so far this season, in my opinion. When he's played,
I think he's absolutely fantastic.
I don't think he'll suit the pressing really high in a back three, to be honest with you, in terms of pace. But legend, and I hope he retires and enjoys it at the end of the season. Like, it's not like, oh, I hope he retires, but I think he deserves to.
I hope he goes on another 3 years myself, but it's not going to happen.
So I mean, I hope he. What I mean is, I hope he retires and enjoys his retirement. It's not like, oh, I'm wishing for him to retire, because he's been fantastic for United, but the way we want to play, don't think he suits it as good as he's been.
He suits it in one way, because it's supposed to be possession based and playing out from the back, and I'll put my place on the line, if you like. He's our best player on the ball, absolutely the best.
Would you play
the way he moves, the way he finds space? He's not afraid of dropping all the way back to. I've seen him a couple of times. The keeper's got the ball near the 6-yard line or near the penalty spot, but there's a player up against us, quite far forward. Johnny Evans drops all the way to the dead ball line and lets the keeper pass it backwards to him, and then and he can see where he wants to give it next. I just love watching him play. He's proper in control. So despite the fact that he might. Well, we just said Martinez isn't exactly rapid, so despite the fact that he might not be rapid, he's absolutely fantastic on the ball. So again, we don't know what the manager's going to. He might come in and this might sound daft. He might come in and go, "Wow, he's a good player. Surely he should know who he is." But Ten Hag.
He will know who he is. He scored against him, didn't he, in the last minute? Ten Hag
more or less gave him a trial, didn't he? So it's like he barely knew who he was, you know what I mean? I'd have signed him without giving him a trial, And you know I would.
I know you would. It's mad because, I think when Ten Hag first came in, you said your first 2 signings would be Evans and Welbeck. Evans probably was one of his best signings, and he wanted to sign Welbeck in January. Yeah. But anyway, in terms of where you would play Johnny Evans, would you play him on the left side of the back three or the central?
Yeah, left. Yeah.
Left. Okay. Yeah. He does. I think I would opt for that,
But then again, that's where Martinez can play. I've got nothing against Martinez. I honestly believe Johnny Evans is an even better player. So.
I think Martinez will be the starter, but I think Evans will be there as a rotation, and I hope when he steps in, he does a fantastic job for us. But like I said, I don't think his pace would work in the way that he wants to push him high, but Martinez isn't the most pacey. So, what Johnny Evans is, which I think you can make up with pace, is intelligent.
Yeah.
He's positionally intelligent.
He's fantastic.
Last defender on the list, Harry Armas.
No idea, really, Beth. What's he going to think of him?
Amorim is renowned for being excellent with youth.
Yeah. Let's hope he makes it. I hope all the kids who come through United, and they can't all make it, but all the kids who get named as like this player could be this or could be that. Did see him on the pre-season tour. He did look pretty good. When he came up against Mo Salah, I think he got a bit of a run around, but then again, who wouldn't, especially a young lad. And he's not even chanced him at all, has he? Not even for 5 minutes, Ten Hag. So maybe this manager will, I don't know. But Beth, I honestly wouldn't like to say whether he'll make it or not. I need to see more of him. One
thing I would say is I think if he does play, I think left wing back would suit him more than left full back. Just in terms of, he's not the most physical at this point, and maybe not the most defensively solid, but he's excellent on the ball. His technical ability on the ball is fantastic. I mean, I was just watching him warm up at Fenerbahce. I was just watching him, and the way he was passing the ball, striking the ball. You can just tell someone's technically good by watching him. So I think under Amorim, with how good he is with youth, I wouldn't be surprised if he did bring him into that left wing back position. Don't think it'll happen straight away. Wouldn't count on him being the new left wing back for Manchester United, but I also wouldn't put it past him doing that. We're desperate for a left wing back, I think, in my opinion. And Harry Armas, with his technical ability, I think he could be really good there. So I think we should definitely keep an eye on that one. 100%. Agreed. Let's get some super chats in here. We've got Harry Maguire saying, a role player, I'm the best centre back in the league. Stop it. Agree to disagree. Lee Cape Town says, these players are just not good enough. If you know United from the early days, I'm done digging up these players.
Name a few. Lee, is it called?
Yeah.
Name a few, Lee.
You've been called out by Ricky. Pickled Pigeon says, if we bring in any sporting player with Amorim, it must be Gonzalez. He's one of the best 10s on the planet. He's essential to this system. We're going to be talking about them 10s that are going to be in behind the striker as well. Who's going to fit into them roles? Next up, midfielders. Someone who could fit into one of them roles, if he ever gets fit, Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Do you suppose? I saw the, you know,
one of the 210s. You mean? I was talking because we're going to. Supposedly he calls it. He's calling them inside forwards. They're like 10s, but you've also got 2 behind them, haven't you? I thought you might have gone through that first, but go on, carry on.
Pardon?
I thought you might have gone through the defensive midfield players first because there's 2 behind 2, isn't there? And then,
do you want me to go from defensive? I'm just reading the list.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, but I'll go through the defensive midfielders first, then Ricky. We'll go by Ricky's rules. Casemiro.
Can't see it. Like the lad said on the video today, I can't see it.
As good as he was against Leicester's second string yesterday, don't think he has the mobility to work in that too.
Yeah.
Maybe with Ugarte next to him, potentially, with the legs of Ugarte, but I don't think Casemiro's a long-term future in that midfield role, so I don't really see it that much with Casemiro, and you agree with me on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Kobbie Mainoo.
He's got to get loads. He's got to get loads of time, man. Loads of game time. And, you know, he's going to have a good chance of being in that role. I'm thinking he'll start with Ugarte and Mainoo as his 2 in front of the back 4.
I agree. So that brings me nicely on to Manuel Ugarte, who I think he's probably one of the players that will benefit from Amorim the most.
Yeah, I think he'll be a nailed-on starter.
A nailed-on starter?
Yeah, I think he'll be a nailed-on starter under this manager.
Well, he got his best season out of him at 21 years. It looks like he's got a great engine, doesn't he? Another player he brought through as a youth product. Yeah, I thought he was great against Leicester. Fantastic under Amorim. Got bought by PSG because of how good he was. Liverpool were interested, Chelsea were interested. Obviously now United have bought him, and it was based off his reputation in that Sporting season because we know he didn't have the best of times at PSG. So I think he's massively going to benefit. And I think the word out of Manchester United was he was bought to complement Kobbie Mainoo.
Right.
So I think one of Kobbie Mainoo's weaknesses is getting about the pitch. He's not the most mobile. I mean, don't get me wrong, he covers a lot of ground, but he's not blessed with the most pace. He's not the most mobile. Whereas Manuel Ugarte, he's very pacey. He's like a wasp, isn't he? Yeah, he's going to suit his style, but he's obviously played for him in that role as well. So I think, like I say, I think he's a nailed-on starter, Ugarte. I mean, Toby Collier.
What I've seen of him, I like him. Again, I always like to see good few games, you know what I mean? Sort of a little bit of him playing left back. I've seen him playing midfield a couple of times. That was mainly, I think that was on tour, wasn't it? I think the kid's got a chance in the game, but I need to see more of him.
I really liked what I've seen.
They'll probably keep him.
What I really liked that I've seen of Toby Collier on pre-season, I thought he looked proper steady and like he's got potential, good on the ball, which we like and what you're going to need. But I think Toby Collier would really benefit from a loan spell in like the Championship or something. I really do. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, look at other players that have gone through.
Plenty of players have been out on loan and done well. David Beckham went out on loan.
Mason Mount.
As a young man.
Mason Mount did it. Quite a few teams. He was at Derby, wasn't he?
So there's no harm in going out on loan. No.
Yeah, so I think he could do with a loan, but I do see his potential, and I'm excited to see what he can bring. And again, the fact that Amorim's good with youth bodes well for our players and our academy as well, which has got a lot of good talent in it. Christian Eriksen, Rick.
It might surprise a few people. Obviously, everyone's talking about the legs and all this pressing, but they all look. You can't have everything, and people. He also likes to look after the ball. It was interesting, but we'll come to Bruno in a minute, so I won't say what the fella said about Bruno. But you know, Bruno's got. Well, I will say it. Bruno's got plenty of legs, plenty of energy, can run all over. But the guy on the video, and it's a great video, and you need to mention it again. It's a great video, and he said, you know. His risk and reward, the balance of his risk for what he gets, his rewards, isn't quite right and won't fit how Amorim wants to play. So Bruno's got one thing, but not the other. But Eriksen looks after the ball absolutely superbly, but maybe hasn't got the legs that you would like. So, you know, one player's got one thing and not the other, and the other player has got one thing and not the other. You know, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if he picked Eriksen as one of the two 10s. Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
I think Eriksen and Ugarte could potentially work.
I'm talking about as one of the 10s.
Oh, as one of the 10s?
Yeah, I'm thinking Ugarte and Mainoo, Eriksen a little bit further forward.
But did you see about obviously the video that we were watching, talking about how he wants his 210s to be like.
Press,
Did you talk about how basically the one of the positions on the pitch that has to do the most work, has to do the most running, has to do the most leg work?
Eriksen's as straight as a fiddle. He's not rapid. He's not rapid. But then again, Bruno's not rapid, is he? You know, Eriksen can run all day. You could put Eriksen could go and do the Manchester Marathon. Do you know what I mean? So he can run all day. He's just the fact that he's not rapid. It doesn't mean that he can't run. And as those, he spoke about a box, didn't he? Really, or can't remember the phrase now. But there's like 5 players that are rotating and moving across the field. You know, in tandem. Eriksen can keep up with all those players doing that in tandem. No danger whatsoever. It's not full belt all that. That's like just moving around the park.
I think Eriksen has been one of Man United's best players this season, if not the best. But I don't see him as an inside forward in the Amorim system. Going to be honest, I do think he can play in the midfield pivot though, because I think he's got good position and I think he's good on the ball. Might get caught out defensively. He'd need someone really strong defensively next to him. But then again, you know, he's another one where his contract runs out in the summer. I'd be up for giving him 1 year extension because I just think he's good on the really good on the ball. But will he thrive under this system? Don't think it's a system that suits him the most. Got to be honest. But I think he's so good on the ball that he will be utilised.
Yeah, no matter what system you're playing, Beth, you need good footballers on the park. And I think Amorim, from everything that I hear him say, he sounds like a proper football man to me. And a proper football man understands
values it,
that you need good players. No matter what system you're playing, you need good players, and Eriksen's a good player. So let's see.
Next up, Mason Mount.
He's a good player as well. He's rapid.
This is a player that I think if he can be fit, which Lord knows if he ever will be, would be excellent as an inside forward, as one of the 10s behind the striker. Excellent at pressing, work rate off the scale, which is what you need in the Amorim system. It's his best position. You know, he's played in that little pocket of space under Tuchel at Chelsea when he was having some really good spells. Just whether he can get fit.
Are we already? When I say already, did he sign for us at the pre-season? I know it wasn't this one. I know it wasn't this one. It was the previous pre-season one. Yeah. So this is his second season. Or is it his third season? This is his second season with us, isn't it? Is it his second or third season with us now?
It's his second.
Second. But he's had there fit. I mean, before
feels like he's not had a single season.
Yeah, before you know it, you know, we're talking in the same realms as Martial, and sure, we really are. He's just never fit.
I know.
He went off with a little knock on his head in that game, and suddenly it's not the head knock that kept him out. He's got a different injury straight away. He'd only just come back in that game from an injury. It's exasperating, isn't it?
Do you know what's mad? There's so many people in the chat saying Mount has been a terrible buy, and I don't disagree with you. He has been
because
so far
of the injuries.
because he's been injured, but that doesn't mean he's a bad player. Yeah. But Mount has the opportunity now. I mean,
if he's fit,
I don't think he wants to.
He's not fit now, is he?
I don't think he wants to be injured, obviously.
Yeah.
But if Mount can get himself fit, this is his best chance he's got at making it Manchester United in this system.
With this new manager.
Yeah, 100%. It's his best chance. Because I think that position is made for him.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's just whether he can stay fit, and I don't think he'll be able to, based off what we've seen so far. But I hope he can. Because I genuinely think he could be one of the players that benefits from Amorim the most.
100% agree.
Thanks, Ricky. Agreeing with me a lot. Dangor. Obviously not seen much of him.
Again, not seen enough of him. Looks a lovely, neat and tidy footballer. Lovely, neat and tidy. But again, you know, these players who come through. But look, you've just said before, this manager really is strong on youth, and he really has improved players, or so we read. I don't know. I don't watch Sport Lisbon every week. I'm just going off what I've heard. And, you know, he really does bring players through and turns them into footballers. So, you know, maybe he's got a good chance under this manager. Let's see. And again, another thing that's worth saying, although everybody on here always talks about the other leagues not being very good, I don't mean the big leagues, the German league, the Italian league, the French league, the Spanish league. They're all good leagues. But once you go below that, the Portuguese league, the Dutch league, then it's worth saying, you know, maybe it's easier to bring those players through in that league than it would be here.
With less pressure as well.
Yeah, or that it would be in Italy or Spain or Germany.
Last but not least, captain Bruno Fernandes.
he'll be a nailed-on starter to start with, but he'll have to, from what I'm hearing and what I'm reading, he will have to start cutting out these, and that fella said that as well, he's got to start cutting out these Hollywood balls. I don't think the manager's going to be too impressed if he keeps giving the ball away. But I do think he'll be, to start with, a nailed-on starter as one of the 2 10s.
Yes, I think Bruno can play 2 positions in the system. I think he can play one of the 10s, or he could play in that midfield too, but he'd have to be seriously disciplined.
Yeah.
He has played deeper before in his career, but I do think that his best position in this system is one of the inside forwards, one of the 10s. His work rate's off the scale, another one. He's good at pressing. Only thing that could let him down is he's not a great carrier of the ball. But I do think if he's disciplined, that's where he thrives. Do you know what will be really interesting with this new manager? Because so many people have criticised certain things Bruno does, and I think rightly so in some occasions, because this season he has been overall pretty poor. If he does change his game, because if he doesn't change his game, everyone's going to be like, see, that's just Bruno. But if he does change his game, it shows that, I've always said it's the coach's job to get hold of the player and coach him on how to play and, what positions to take up, be disciplined in these areas, cut out them Hollywood passes, do this, do that. So it'll be interesting to see what influence Amorim does have on Bruno, especially that Portuguese connection, both sporting guys. I mean, coming in as captain of the team, it'll be interesting to see if Amorim does change his game a bit.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting if he can do that. I do think, I mean, what's that phrase? Is it a true phrase that a leopard can't change its spots? But he does try a lot of too many Hollywood balls, too many fancy passes. Refuses the easy passes for me too often when he's got somebody running outside him and he seems to want to put the ball in the box himself rather than giving the easy pass to someone who's got a better angle to put the ball in. And I've seen him do that dozens and dozens of times. So look, this manager, if he's worth his salt, and he can see a footballer, he's wonderful. I know I've just said it's not a great league, but you've still got to finish above Porto, you've still got to finish above Benfica, and he's done that twice. So hopefully he knows a footballer when he sees one, and let's wait and see what he thinks.
Let's get some super chats in and then move on to the forward players. God, time's flying. Right. Jackie Boy says, what I think Amorim needs to drill into the players is that ruthless aggression and tenacity. Fergie brought back that desire to win no matter what. Would agree with you. I've so far this season I've been watching, I've heard myself saying a few times we need to be more aggressive, especially defending our own box. LJ says, yes, loving the Beth and Ricky shows recently, love the energy and slowly becoming my favourite dynamic duo. Thank you very much, LJ. We appreciate that. Right, forward players, Rasmus Højlund, let's get into it.
He's going to be the main man, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's going to be the main man. Again, what we've been reading and hearing, he really does, this is something else as well, by the way, when we speak about the wide men, he really does work on getting balls into the box for his striker. It's all about feeding the striker.
I bet you're buzzing to see that.
And it's not about cutting in and having shots yourself, you know what I mean? So, hopefully Højlund can start getting a few chances made for him. Again, in the Premier League, it's proper tough. In an 18-yard box in the Premier League, you've got to be some player to keep finding space, keep getting on the end of things. We can name one or two, we won't bother, who are fantastic at it, that play for other clubs. But we need somebody who can do that. But we've still got to put the ball there for him to be able to challenge for it, for him to be able to get on the end of chances. The rest of the players have got to do that. And hopefully under this manager, that's going to start happening.
Will Højlund be the new Gyökeres? If that's how you say his name.
Gyökeres.
The striker for Sporting Lisbon, that is.
Will he be, you've got to ask this question, will he be his first signing? That wouldn't surprise me.
I know, so many people think we're going to sign him now. I think Sporting want to get 60 to 70 million euros for him next summer. Arsenal were looking at him heavily in the summer. He's a fantastic player. And he's been very well coached by Amorim. But a lot of people see similarities in Højlund and Gyökeres, the way they can run the channels, the pace, the physicality.
The athleticism.
Yeah, the athleticism. So I do think Højlund will be his first pick at striker.
I do.
Interesting stuff. Hopefully he can turn him into Gyökeres.
Yeah.
We'd like to see that. Marcus Rashford.
I don't see a space for him. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's not going to be in the squad, but I can barely see him getting a start in this system. I really can't. I mean, I know people can say he can play striker, but he's not a striker who's going to really get in there and go in for headers. And
someone WhatsApped me today saying he thinks that Rashford will play striker under Amorim, and I thought, I don't think he's aerially strong enough.
No, he's not going to play
hold up
striker.
plays.
He hasn't got the nose to sniff out the chances and get the determination to beat centre backs to lose balls and things like that. He's not. Marcus isn't going to play at number 9. He might get some. Look, he might get some games as one of the wide players, but
don't see it.
Yeah, exactly. Is his defensive capabilities there for him to do that? Is that not too risky to play him there? And the only one where look, his reputation is absolutely. When I say his reputation, I know people are saying he's not playing great yet, but throughout his career he's been regarded as a top player. So his reputation is through the roof. It's way above what I think of him, but his reputation is through the roof. Maybe he'll come in and play him as one of the 10s to start with. He might do. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I was about to say, I definitely don't see him playing wing back, but I might be surprised. I just don't think that's Rashford's game. I don't think you talk about getting the best out of your players. I think that's exposing his weaknesses.
I think we've both agreed just a little bit earlier that he'll probably start by using fullbacks as his wing backs anyway. So,
but the only place I see Rashford playing in this system, and he might well play at striker at some points, but I don't see it. Maybe he will run the channels, but I just don't think he's got the...
He's not physically strong enough. He's not good enough with his back to goal.
I don't think he... But the only place I see him playing is the left inside forward.
Yeah.
Is that 10, but he's still got to put in a lot of work. But he might get a lot of chances there. He'll get chances to shoot, which we know is his best attribute. But he's got to work hard. And I do actually think his passing is good. So I think he could work there, but I think Amorim will have to get hold of him and do a lot of work to make that happen. So if Rashford does play in the Amorim system, which there's going to be a lot of competition for them 2-10 spots, I think it will have to be in one of them spots.
I agree. Again.
Love that. Next up, Joshua Zirkzee.
Tough. Not the look, I think the kid's got a chance. His touch seems to let him down a lot, but he seems so skillful at times. I think he's got a chance in the game, Zirkzee, as a player. I think he could have a decent career. But in this style and the style of striker that we need, and then also, again, you could speak about him as a number 10. And to be fair, I'd sooner see him playing one of the 10s than Marcus. I know he's not as fast as Marcus, but he's more switched on, I think. You know what I mean?
I think he's a bit too leggy.
Yeah, but I'd still have him in. I'd have him there before Marcus. He might get a chance there. But for me, no, I don't think he's going to suit this manager at all.
I don't think Zirkzee will suit Amorim.
No.
Don't see him playing as a out-and-out striker under him, unless he can change him in his game. Could play as one of the number 10s, but I think he looks a little bit too slow motion for that right now. Got the ball taken off him a lot in the games I've seen so far. Maybe it's just adapting to the pace of the Premier League, but I worry for Zirkzee, and I don't want to. I want him to succeed, but I do worry for him in this system.
Succeed. A lot of people have a go at me for having to go at players. I only have a go at them if they're not doing it right, and we've got too many who don't do it right. I want them all to be fantastic. I want every player that plays for us to be the best player in the world in his position.
Yeah, I don't see Zirkzee under Amorim, but I hope I'm wrong. Anthony.
Well, strangely, he might have a chance in this format. He might have a chance. Not that he'd be my first choice, but look, if he's got anything about his game, it's his work ethic and his defensive acumen when he does get back behind the ball. Do you know what I mean? So maybe he'll get a chance as one of the wing backs.
A winger that can't attack but can defend.
Yeah.
I see Anthony being able to...
He'll be a squad player, probably. Sorry. He'll probably be a squad player, but I do think he might get given a chance here and there.
Honestly, I genuinely see him being a wing-back in this system. Don't see him being an inside forward.
No chance.
But I think the only position he can take up, unless he leaves and he gets sold, and that might be a possibility, and I won't be surprised if that happens. He was Ten Hag's guy, weren't he? I think he's got a chance as a wing-back.
Yeah.
Either side.
Yeah.
Either side, I think he's got a chance.
I'd prefer him to have a run on the left, and he never plays on the left.
I think he could play inverted on the right side. But who's his fullback at the? Who's his wing back at the moment that plays inverted? Catam.
Oh, I can't remember all the names.
I need to.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
I need to get it
look, Anthony could play there. I don't think he's going to be quite good enough to be a start in a starting lineup. But if he I've said a few times I won't mind seeing him have a go on the left, and he can get the ball in from the left with his left foot. Whether he'll do that, look, we don't know what actually goes on behind closed doors, behind the scenes, but does he come into the club and say, right, what position does he play? He plays on the right wing and he doesn't play anywhere else, even though he's left-footed. Does that get said? Because if I was the manager coming in, I'd say, well, I don't care about that. I want to see what he's like on the left. Anyway, look, he's not going to. I don't think he's going to get loads of game time, but if he does get any game time, it'll be as a wing-back.
Catamo for Sporting plays as right wing-back and he's predominantly left-footed. He can play on his right a bit as well, but Anthony obviously predominantly left-footed, right wing-back could work, left wing-back, obviously left-footed crosses. We'll see. I don't think he'll be first choice, but it would not surprise me if Amorim does a job on Anthony and converts him to that wing-back role, because I honestly, genuinely think he has got a chance there. Defensively, he's solid. He doesn't really get pressed off the ball. I think he's quite press resistant. It's just he just makes the wrong decisions. Yeah. But I think if he gets coached properly, he has a chance in that wing-back spot, but let's see. Alejandro Garnacho.
Well, he does, as we've said, he does like to use wingers as his wing-backs. That's his only chance is to play as a wing-back. But defensively, to me, honestly, again, like I've just said, I don't like criticising the players, especially young players, but defensively he's very poor, I think. So it'd be interesting to see if he does keep a place. He might well start him there. Like I say, this manager's got to come in. He's got to pick a team. He's got to go to training. He's got to look at them all. He'll be looking at videos. From videos of games, I'm hoping he's going to sit and watch numerous videos and try and really get a grip for which players he likes from the videos. And then go into training, see them all in training, and then pick. He's got to pick at some stage. He's got to pick his first team. When I say his first team, I don't mean his first choice team. He's got to pick a team for the very first game that he takes to the field with. And I think Garnacho might be in it as a wing back, but if he lets him down defensively, I don't think he'll hold that position for very long. I think he's got to be developed. I think he's got to be coached properly, and I think it needs to be very well drilled on his defensive duties. Like you said, he does give the ball away a bit loosely in our defensive third, and that can cost you, like it did against West Ham. However, I seen him yesterday, and again, watching back some of the highlights, he was involved in most of the goals. Such a danger man going forward. The thing is, for me, is I don't see him as an inside forward. I see him more as a touchline winger. The way he takes on his man and everything like that, and his flair. But like you said, I don't see him as defensive enough to be a wing back. I see him as a winger in a system that Ten Hag played. Yeah, with a fullback behind him. In a 4-3-3. Yeah. I see him in a 4-3-3. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. I think he's one of our players that are super exciting, super talented, and I do think his minutes do need to be managed more, and I do think maybe he's been overplayed by Ten Hag, but I think he's one of our most exciting players, one of our most exciting talents. I mean, he was in for the Copper Trophy, wasn't he? The Ballon d'Or, but I just don't see him in this system, and that's going to be interesting to see how ruthless Amorim actually is, or if he can get a tune out of him and what position it would be, because I can only really see it being at wing back. But then again, I'm not the manager. Yeah, I can only see him being at wing back, and I've said it already. I can only see him being at wing back, but if he doesn't do his defensive duties proper, I don't think he'll wear him. Whereas I think Rashford could play as an inside forward, but I just see Garnacho at wing back. That's it. So let's see. And it's not exactly like he's one of the senior players, even though he has played a lot. He's still only 20. So it might be easier to manage him than some of the other, players in the squad. But we'll see. We'll see. We know he works hard. We know he's a grafter. We know he's still young, so he can be coached. But we'll see what Amorim does with him. I think he's definitely an interesting one, because one of the players I find most exciting, but I struggle to get him into this team. Could be a good super sub. Yeah. Amad. I think he's got a great chance of being one of the wing backs, a regular wing back. I mean, I've said it, people know who've watched regular that I do rate him, and I think he should be getting more game time, certainly over and above Anthony, which I thought was a joke, and above, for me, above Rashford and Garnacho as well. But one thing that he definitely does better is he gets back in that final third, he works his socks off, and I regularly see him nicking the ball off somebody and giving the easy pass to his fullback or even one of his centre-backs and getting himself forward again. And you know, he's a good player going forward. He's not absolutely fantastic, but neither are the other wingers. But he does, he sees a pass. He can pick somebody out in the box. The ball he put in at West Ham to Dalot was an absolutely fantastic ball when Dalot headed it back across and we got a goal out of it. Don't forget he was only on 15 minutes as well, or whatever it was, about 15 minutes. I think Amad has got a great chance of being one of his first choice players.
I agree, and I think he can play multiple positions in the system. I think he can play
in one of the 10s.
I think his best position would be inside forward as one of the 10s. On that right side, I could see him doing excellently well at that, honestly, because he moves into the midfield anyway, you know, the way he comes in on his left foot. I also think he could be a wing-back. I think he's more defensively solid than other wingers. So I think his two positions that Amad can play in that system. Last but not least, Ethan Wheatley. Again, young, probably needs a loan. Not
seen enough of him.
Yeah, but we hope he does well.
Hope he does well. I hope they all do well.
We've actually timed it perfect, near enough perfect, because the hour is up, Ricky.
Right.
But I quickly...
That's flown by, that.
It's flown by. I mean, we might change our minds, so don't hold us to this with, you know, don't hold us to this when Amorim comes in, and we might change in different videos. But thinking about it and talking about what we've just talked in then, say everybody is fit.
Yeah.
Everyone is fit.
Yeah.
Who do you think is the starting 11 that Amorim would pick? And you were talking everyone's fit. You can include Luke Shaw, you can include Mason Mount.
So, right. Oh, wow. Everybody fit.
Everybody fit.
Right. Even though I said what I said, and Luke Shaw being more suited to left-sided centre-back, I think there's just too many centre-backs, so I'm going to include Luke Shaw as a left wing-back.
We'll start from the keeper.
I'm just sort of jumping ahead there a little bit, because I am good. So Onana, a back
Do I
three.
include Shaw? People saying don't include Mount and Shaw because they're always injured.
Yeah.
Maybe we will. Okay, we will.
Yeah, I think what we should really be picking between us is what we think his team will be on that very first day that he puts the team out on the field. And we know that Mason Mount, well, I think we know that Mason Mount's not going to be fit. Luke Shaw's definitely not going to be fit. So let's try and pick what the team will be from the players that he's got to choose from. Well, Yoro should be fit by then.
I don't think Mainu will be, though.
What, after the international break?
Oh, might be. Okay, we'll
you know.
Okay, yeah.
All right, let's give it a little bit of flexibility.
Okay.
If we think we've got a chance of being fit, we'll include him. So I don't think Luke Shaw's got a chance of being fit. So I'm going to go Onana. I'm going to go a back three. I am going to go a back three of Lindelof, Yoro and Martinez. A lot of people will say, where's the lit? I just think he knows Lindelof already. I've said that a couple of times, and I think Lindelof's an underrated player, and we want to play out from the back, and I think his passing is different level. And I think Lindelof, Yoro, and Martinez. I'll probably be wrong, it'll probably be delayed, but that's my choice. That's what I'm trying to pick what I think he might pick as well, though. You know what I mean? And I think he knows Lindelof already. I think he might find that he's in the starting lineup to start with. Obviously, if it don't go well, he can lose his spell. We're literally picking here his team the very first day he puts the team out on the field. So I'll go through it quickly now. I'm going to go Lindelof, I'm going to go Yoro, I'm going to go Martinez. I think they'll all be fit by then. I think his two wing-backs, I think, are going to be Mazraoui and Dalot. I really do. I think he'll go a bit cagey to start with. Then his two, it's going to be Ugarte and Mainu. Mainu should be fit by then. If not, it'll be Casemiro, Ugarte and Mainu. And I'm going to go, as his two number 10s, Bruno and Eriksen. And number 9, Højlund. Let's see how close I am. You name yours, let's see who's closest.
Wow, that is different to what I'm thinking. Okay, so I'm going Onana in goal.
Yeah.
Don't know if Yoro will be fully fit by then to start, but if he is, I'm going Martinez, De Ligt and Yoro.
Yeah.
It's my 3 centre-backs.
And that's one difference, that's all.
I'm going Dalot.
Yeah.
Who's right wing back. I'm going
For a winger.
I don't know. It's either gonna be Mazraoui or Garnacho.
Yeah.
I think.
Make your choice. Toss a coin.
It's gonna be Mazraoui or Garnacho. He's Garnacho defensively.
Don't forget, we're talking about one game here.
It's gonna be Ipswich away, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise,
it's an away match as well, even though it's Ipswich.
Maybe go Garnacho.
Okay, so you've got two.
I don't think you will though, but I'll do it just to be different.
Two differences. Go. You're back to defensive two midfielders.
Defensive two midfielders will be Mainu and Ugarte.
Yeah.
I think his 2 10s will be Bruno and Amad, and then Hoyland at 9.
Right. Yeah, it's not a bad shout. Got a chance of being in front of me there, darling.
I'd love to see Amad as the right 10.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I didn't think about including him as one of the wing backs. Actually, I've just got it set in my mind that he will go really steady to start with and start with 2 fullbacks. I didn't even think of Amad, but I think it's a good shout that Amad getting a start.
To be honest, now I'm thinking about it, I think Mazraoui might play left wing back, or he might play right wing back and Dal will play left wing back. I just don't see him dropping both Garnacho and Rashford.
Yeah.
Who knows? Get in the comments yours down below.
Yeah.
Matt's put
when you say dropping, he's not dropping anyone. He's picking his team to, he's not had a team out there to be able to drop anyone, has he? If you follow me meaning.
JS says, ain't no way Amorim comes in and drops Rashford. Maybe he plays Rashford and Bruno as the 10s. Who knows? Instead of Amad might be dropped out for Rashford. We'll see. I don't think the manager will be phased. Honestly, I don't. Yeah. But let's see. Look, everyone, got to wrap it up. This has gone so quickly, and I've loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It's been great. Thank you.
Ethan Murray says, we need young Quenda from Sporting. Ethan Murray, welcome to the United 10 Members Club. Lino Gonzalez says, Beth, what video do you and Ricky keep talking about? It is the ultimate tactical guide to Amorim at Manchester United by Pythagoras in Boots on YouTube. That is the video. Excellent tactical analysis if you want to go and give that a watch. Jackie Boy says, Anthony is the GOAT. Umar says, I heard Beth is working on coaching badges. If either of you could work for United, what position or department would it be in? Interesting super chat. I'd be Ricky's assistant manager. See us having arguments on the sidelines. You need to get Garnacho on. No. Jackie Boy says, what I think Amorim needs to drill into players is that ruthless aggression. We've done that one. Look, guys, thank you so much for watching. What would your ideal position be at United, Ricky? I didn't let you answer that.
Striker coach.
Striker coach?
Yeah, striker coach, without a doubt.
Would you be able to hold your tongue at the weekends with the manager picking?
I don't know. I'd probably have to sit in the stand, so I don't have to say anything to the manager.
Love that. Look, guys, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate all the comments, all the super chats. Please hit a like on the video. Last but not least, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Oh, quick one. Mrs. Ricky, if you're watching, she's away in Spain, the wife. So I'm going out for a curry now. It's the first time I've been out in the evening to eat. So I've been eating at home, love, if you're watching.
Oh, we love
She's
Shelley.
only been away 2 days, though.
What have you been able to do without her? That's when you say you've not eaten in 2 days.
She's left stuff in the freezer and it's all labelled and everything.
Labelled. Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, amazing class stuff. Look, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great Halloween, no matter what you're doing. I'm off to watch a horror film now. Can't wait. And I'll see you on the next one. I know it's not United's games under Ten Hag.